This video focuses on the flower exercise, which will help you explore the many different facets of yourself. You'll find out about the benefits of being able to describe yourself as more than just a gerontologist, discover how your negative past experiences can benefit your future career, and of course, learn about the 7 petals of the flower exercise. This exercise comes from the book, What Color is Your Parachute? A Practical Manual for Job Hunters and Career Changers by Richard Boyles. They come out with a new version every year, so if you're interested in borrowing or purchasing the book, make sure you get the latest one. This exercise is part of the section that delves into helping you more fully understand who you are. Who are you? You're a gerontologist, right? Yes, and there is so much more to you than that. Creating an inventory of who you are and what you love to do means that you can prepare to describe yourself in multiple ways, and that means you can approach different markets. You're no longer just a gerontologist, but you're a person who has certain skills and experiences that allows you to think in creative, out-of-the-box ways. By doing this work on yourself, you can describe in detail what it is that you are looking for. When you're talking with family and friends, or when you're networking, or talking with a company that you want to work for, rather than saying, I just graduated and I'm looking for a position, or I'm a gerontologist, let me know if you hear of anything, which are both incredibly vague and they don't allow others to really help you. Instead, you'll have the language to share with them what it is that you want, which will hopefully help you identify more prospective opportunities. Creating a clear picture of what you want for your future is also incredibly exciting, which for those of you on the verge of graduating can help you put more energy into your job search. For those of you with a bit more time left before you transition into the working world, it will hopefully give you a really strong image of your future, which will help give you the determination to find the dream job that fits that picture for you. And if you don't know if that dream position exists in the world, no worry. You won't have to wait for job vacancies or position postings. You can be that bridge person for an organization to meet a challenge that they have with the skill set that you offer. There may not be a job opening, and you can really create it for yourself. A story I love to share is one of our recent graduates, Cynthia Hutchins. She worked in the financial services industry for over 30 years before receiving her MAG in 2013 from our USC Leonard Davis School of Gerontology. When she graduated, she approached Merrill Lynch, and she was able to articulate her strengths and skills and training, and they found her new gerontology degree valuable to their vision of retirement planning. And so they created a director of financial gerontology position for her, and she was hired full-time. But let's say you're not quite as entrepreneurial as Cindy. You just want to search for a job online and apply for positions that already exist. Doing this work allows for you to see what makes you unique and different. If there are dozens of other applicants, why would a recruiter want to pick you? You can tell them. For some of you who are non-traditional age students, you might be changing your career from another discipline to gerontology. For those of you who are trying to hone in on what aspect of gerontology you want to focus on, this soul-searching work that we'll do may allow you to see different career opportunities available, or maybe a certain direction that you want to pursue further. Another reason to consider is that really this is a transition for you. Whatever stage you're at, undergraduate, graduate, traditional student, returning for your degree, looking to start your 3rd career, or finding your first full-time job. Use this opportunity to pause, think, and assess what you really want to do with your life. Make it not just a job hunt, but the hunt for a deeper life, a life that's aligned with your values and your beliefs about the world, about your strengths, how you want to contribute to society, so that you can use that, you can use it to explore that side of you. Or you can also speed through this just to get through it. It's up to you. On to the flower exercise. The flower is, if you haven't figured it out, it's you. We are going to explore the many different sides of you. Or in this exercise, these are your petals. Instead of just saying, I'm a gerontologist, which you are, you can also say, I'm a person that has had these experiences, or I'm a person who knows a lot about this or that. Here are the 7 petals we will be exploring. What you know, the people you work best with, the transferable skills you have, the conditions that are most conducive to your best work, what kind of responsibility you want, the areas or places that you want to live, and what your overall goal, purpose, or mission in life. It's a lot to cover. Here it is as a flower. To help you capture it all, there is a flower worksheet that you can fill out if you're a visual person and that helps you. Otherwise, you can just write it out as a list, and that will, it might be easier to read that way. Now, we're going to go quickly through each petal. If you find this exercise helpful and you want to go into more depth, again, you're welcome to purchase a copy of the book, What Colors Your Parachute, or I also have a copy in my office. You're welcome to come by and take a look. Petal 1 is about knowledge and understanding your fields of interest. The goal is to summarize everything that is in your brain about what you know. These are the things you have learned in the past that you already know about and hopefully you enjoy talking about. These could also be things that you would like to learn about, that you're pursuing knowledge on. What this provides is some guidance as to what fields might be a good fit for you. When you identify knowledges, these are going to be nouns like program evaluation or quantitative, qualitative research, maybe elder abuse policy or working directly with caregivers. It could also be something separate from gerontology, like marketing or technology. What you are not looking for are adjectives like prompt or thorough. Those are more like traits whenever you have an adjective. And you're also not looking for verbs like good at analyzing or has strong communication skills. Those are more like transferable skills. Okay. Some questions to help prompt your thinking. What do you know from previous jobs? These are positions that you've had, and they could be volunteer, internship, paid positions. What do you know outside of gerontology? Maybe these are strong passions or hobbies that you have. What fields, careers, or industries sound interesting to you? Again, in or outside of gerontology, but these are things you could spend a lot of time talking about. And then finally, any other hunches or ideas that you have about different kinds of knowledge you possess. Again, there's a worksheet available. You want to think of this as a fisherman's net. You want to cast it out and capture as much as you possibly can, and then you'll sort things out later. The next petal is the kinds of people that you prefer to work with. Now, if you've had a job before, you know that your coworkers can make or break your experience of your job. They can make it a joy to come to work, or you can dread all of your interactions and essentially have a miserable time at work. What we want to do is avoid duplicating horrible experiences by identifying what you want. This is both who you want to work with and who you want to serve. You want to distinguish between those two groups to help you hone in on where you want to work and what kind of work you'll be doing. Hopefully that makes sense. You'll want to use adjectives or identify types of people. An example would be, I'd like to work with flexible, collaborative, and passionate people. Or I like to serve caregivers, or I like to serve individuals with cognitive impairment, or older adults living in underserved communities. Some prompts to help with your brainstorming. Think back to the places that you have worked and who you worked with and who you served. Who are the people that made your time there difficult? And be specific about what it was about them that frustrated you. Maybe they were bossy, or they always left early before the job was done. And then use that list to order or narrow down the kinds of people you would prefer not to work with. And then you can flip those traits around and identify the qualities of the people that you would most like to work with. The third petal focuses on what you can do and what you like to do. When we talk about resumes, these are often called transferable skills. The goal here is to discover what skills you have that can be used in a variety of fields or areas of interest. Usually they revolve around people skills or skills handling knowledge or physical things. You'll want to identify what you can do, but also which skills you really enjoy using. And these will be verbs describing what you do. You can make them ending in ing if that's easier. So analyze or listening or managing, right? Avoid traits which describe your style, right? So a trait like adaptable or reliable, persistent, that describes the way that you do your analyzing or listening or managing. If you find it difficult to think about the different skills you have, this diagram can be useful. It looks at data, people, and things, and it provides a spectrum of being prescribed, right? So someone telling you to do something, to things that require more discretion, right? So that's at the top, which means you have to use your judgment to figure out the next move. You'll want to claim the highest skills that you legitimately can based on your past performance. So later on in the semester, when we look at resumes, we'll revisit these transferable skills, and we'll also want to craft stories to help you describe and make those skills real, the skills that you have real by using those stories. The next petal, petal number 4, is your working conditions, which is how you do your best work. Here, you will want to reflect on the working conditions that make you the happiest and allow you to be the most effective. So similar to petal number 2, we want to avoid past bad experiences by describing the physical surroundings that support you. It could be like having windows or being able to see green outside, or it might be that you were encouraged to have lunch away from your desk, or you had the flexibility with clocking in and out. The worksheet listed here has you go through the working conditions that didn't work for you, and then it asks you to rank them and then flip them on their heads to identify the keys to your most effective working conditions. Very similar to the process when you were exploring the people that you like to work with. The 5th petal focuses on what kind of responsibility you would like, and thinking about things like salary. This is the balance between the dream and reality. You do need a realistic picture of how much you need or want to earn, and that will go hand in hand with how much responsibility you take on. In this petal, you'll end up with like a salary range and using a projected budget for what you need. The first question you need to think about is what level of work you'd like to have at your ideal job. Perhaps you wanted to be the CEO or COO or the executive director. Maybe that's too much responsibility and you envision yourself as a manager or the head of a department. And if you think about the team structure, maybe you're the head of a team, or maybe you're a team member. And if you're more of a do-it-yourself, maybe you think of yourself as a consultant or maybe owning your own business. These each have different levels of responsibility which correlate with different levels of compensation. And I want to emphasize that being a team member versus being CEO, one is not necessarily better than the other. They just have different levels of responsibility and different levels of compensation. Also, coming up with a budget can be very useful for this kind of planning. Now, I would suspect that most of you don't keep a budget or balance your checkbook, which is totally fine. The purpose of this pedal is to raise awareness about your financial needs and to have you think about the salary range you are looking for. Keeping track of your expenses to have a clear picture of what you need can also be helpful to figure out your monthly budget and maybe what you should be looking for wage-wise. You'll also want to think about the other things that are available for you at a job, having to do with responsibility and salary. These are things like the opportunity to exercise leadership or to grow within a company. That might be really important to you. Maybe having regular in-services available, funds available for you to take continuing education courses. There are other forms of compensation other than your salary, such as benefits, paid time off, so you want to think about those things as well. Our next to last pedal is about where you would like to live. Maybe now, maybe later. Think about where you would like to live and work and perhaps retire. So for some of you, this is a no-brainer. You plan to stay in California, or you plan to go back east or back to China. I'd like to encourage you to think about now and later. What are your needs or preferences right now, as well as later? If you choose to start a family, if you choose to retire, where would you want that to happen? It can be general or specific. It's whatever you would like, but really it's up to you to determine what it is that you want. So think about all the different places that you've lived. Think about what you didn't like, what you did like, and you'll rank the positive attributes you're looking for and then brainstorm places that fit those criteria. Another worksheet for you. And then lastly, the 7th pedal. This one explores your philosophy on life. This is sort of an existential meaning of life kind of exploration that looks at your moral compass and the spiritual values that you want to guide your life. This is the deep soul searching that has you reflect on your goals, your purpose, your mission in life, and what it is you want to do with your degree in gerontology. This is helpful to you in your job search in that once you are clear on what your own personal mission is, you can more easily recognize an organization that has a mission that is similar to yours. And the book, What Color Is Your Parachute, uses different kingdoms as a way to think about the world we live in and how we want to affect them. And there are 9 different kinds of kingdoms that we might want to have an impact on. So for each of these, I'd like for you to imagine that you are towards the end of your life looking back. What kind of impact do you want to have? What kind of impression or difference do you want to make because you were here? So the first one, the kingdom of the mind, focuses on knowledge, truth, and clarity. The kingdom of the body has to do with wholeness and fitness, kind of health in general. It could be addressing the body's wounds or strength, or it could be feeding the hungry or clothing the poor. The eyes and other senses describes kind of beauty in the world, such as like art, music, painting. The kingdom of the heart connects with love and compassion and thinking about for whom or for what, right? If you think about morality, justice, righteousness, or honesty, then your sense of purpose is pointing towards will or conscience. The spirit that has to do with aspects of spirituality, like faith, compassion, forgiveness, maybe love for God, or the human family, that's the spirit kingdom. Entertainment has to do with the lightening of people's loads. It could be giving them perspective or helping them forget their cares, as well as things like laughter and joy. Those who are drawn to the kingdom of possessions are usually thinking about being good stewards of what we have. Rather than more, bigger, better, it's usually thinking about us as individuals and communities, counties, countries, thinking of quality rather than quantity and simplifying our lives so that we're content with what we have. And then lastly, the kingdom of the earth, which kind of looks at protecting our planet, thinking of exploration and not exploitation when it comes to our world and our universe. So those are the 9 different kingdoms, and hopefully the descriptions, the short descriptions I provided, helped you to hone in on the effect that you would like to have on our society. So that's the 7 different petals of the flower exercise. Yay! Once again, another link to a worksheet if you find that helpful, as well as a sample of a completed flower. And you'll see they've gone into a lot of detail. For the purposes of this course, it's more for you to begin to explore the language that you need to better articulate the training, skills, and experience that you have and that you want to get the ideal job for you. All right? And so I hope that you found that flower exercise helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the discussion boards.